The Royal Canadian Mint just did something shocking. They shut down silver sales. And it wasn't just a glitch, it's part of something much bigger. Within 48 hours, the US Mint did the same thing. You're probably asking yourself, what does this mean for me? Well, it means we're facing a global silver crisis. And if you're not paying attention, it could cost you. Stick around, because what's happening right now is far more significant than most people realize. So here's what's happening. The Royal Canadian Mint suddenly suspends all silver sales 2 days after the US Mint does the same. You might be thinking, okay, this is just a coincidence, right? But here's the thing. This isn't just a random blip. This is part of a bigger pattern, and it's only just beginning. The question you need to ask, why now? Why did two of the largest mints in the world both shut down their silver sales within 48 hours of each other? What's going on behind the scenes that they don't want you to see? And more importantly, what does it mean for you if this goes even further? Here's the first bombshell. The Royal Canadian Mint didn't just suspend sales for fun. They sent out an official email to authorized dealers saying, due to unprecedented demand and global supply constraints, we are temporarily suspending all silver bullion product sales effective immediately. That's a direct quote from them. And think about this. Why would a government-backed mint, one of the biggest in the world, just hit the brakes like that? It's not because of market volatility like the mainstream media says. It's because the silver is gone and they can't get more at a price that makes sense. Notice what they didn't say. They didn't say when they'll resume sales. Why? Because they can't guarantee it. Can't. Now let's talk about the fallout. When one sovereign mint suspends sales, it might feel like a glitch. But when two major players like the US Mint and the Royal Canadian Mint do it back to back, this becomes a systemic problem. Think about it. These are the institutions that set the tone for the entire silver market. When they stop selling, everything changes. Silver prices might look stable on paper, but in reality, they're irrelevant. Here's the big shift. Dealers are no longer able to source silver at reasonable prices. That's why premiums are spiking. And that's why you'll be paying more than you ever thought possible. This isn't a temporary hiccup. It's a signal that the system is starting to break, and we're just seeing the beginning. Here's where it gets even more alarming. Reports are coming in from dealers across North America, and they're saying they can't even get inventory from the US or Canadian mints anymore. This isn't just talk. It's happening in real time. And here's the kicker. The silver you're seeing listed online is priced based on spot price. But when dealers can't source the metal, that spot price becomes a joke. Premiums are skyrocketing. In some cases, generic silver rounds are being sold at $40 over spot. That's a real price of $133 per ounce when the spot price says $91.85. Do the math. That gap, it's the smoking gun. The market is telling us that something's fundamentally broken, and it's only going to get worse. Now, let's stack a few more pieces of the puzzle. First, the Perth Mint is next in line. Watch for any signs that they might shut down their sales. If that happens, we'll know the contagion is spreading. Second, premiums at dealers are already starting to climb, and not just a little. We're talking $20 to $50 over spot. If that trend continues, we're looking at a total breakdown in the silver market. Third, delivery times are stretching out. Dealers are quoting delivery windows of 2 to 3 weeks, but what happens if that becomes 4, 5, or 6 weeks? That's when you know panic is fully setting in. What happens if this continues? Simple. It gets harder to find silver at any price, and premiums will go through the roof. Now let's take a step back and look at how this affects you. You might be thinking, this doesn't really concern me, right? But here's the reality. When the price of silver skyrockets and the mints go dark, regular buyers like you are the ones left scrambling. If you're trying to buy silver now, good luck. Retail buyers are rushing to secure what's left before it disappears, and when that happens, premiums surge, delivery times stretch, and your chances of getting physical silver at a fair price plummet. This isn't just about investors. It's about the average person who sees this unfolding and wants to protect their wealth. If this feels familiar, say so in the comments. Because what we're seeing now is something that could have lasting consequences for anyone who's been waiting to get in. Let's step beyond the panic for a moment and consider why this is happening. It's not just supply issues or a temporary spike in demand. This is about the system that has been propping up the silver market for decades: futures contracts, fractional reserve bullion banking, and paper trading. These mechanisms are starting to collapse under the weight of reality. The problem isn't just that there's not enough silver, it's that the systems that have been used to manipulate prices and hide the true value of silver are breaking down. The moment mints stop selling, the price on paper becomes meaningless. It's a game of smoke and mirrors, and what we're seeing now is the moment when those mirrors start to crack, revealing the truth. There's not enough silver to meet the demand. So what happens next? There are two possible paths forward, and both have major implications. First, if the supply squeeze continues, we could see silver prices skyrocket. If that happens, retail buyers will be bidding against industrial users, and premiums could reach astronomical levels. The miners, too, would see massive gains, but here's the flip side. If the system can't handle the strain, we could see a market correction. Prices might dip temporarily as margin calls force liquidation, but the real price of silver would remain disconnected from the paper price. The bottom line? The next few days will tell us which direction we're heading, but one thing's clear: something is about to give, and when it does, it will shake the entire market. Here's the takeaway. The Royal Canadian Mint just confirmed what we've been watching unfold for months. The silver is gone, and the mints can't restock at a price that makes sense. 2 sovereign mints, 2 days. This isn't a coincidence. It's a contagion event. The system is breaking down, and if you're not paying attention, you'll miss the window to act. The next 48 to 72 hours are critical. Watch the Perth Mint, watch dealer premiums, watch delivery times. These are the signs that will tell us whether we're heading into full-blown crisis or if things will stabilize. But don't wait for the mainstream media to catch up. By then, the opportunity will be gone. If you're serious about protecting your wealth, it's time to make a move. Don't say you weren't warned.